Emotional abuse is a way to control another person by using emotions to criticize, embarrass, shame, blame, or otherwise manipulate another person. In this video, I share with you the top warning signs of emotional abuse. Coming up. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome. This channel is all about creating the best version of yourself so you can achieve your dreams and live an awesome life. Because remember this, you deserve it. Everyone deserves an awesome life. So consider subscribing if you like these kinds of videos below. And hit the bell button so you will get a notification every time I post a new video. In general, a relationship is emotionally abusive when there is a consistent pattern of abusive words and bullying behaviors that wear down a person's self-esteem and undermine their mental health. Mental or emotional abuse can occur in any relationship. It can occur in dating and married relationships, but also among friends, family members, and co-workers. Emotional abuse is one of the hardest forms of abuse to recognize. It can be subtle and insidious or manipulative. Either way, it chips away at the victim's self-esteem, and they begin to doubt their perceptions and reality. The underlying goal of emotional abuse is to control the victim by discrediting, isolating, and silencing. In the end, the victim feels trapped. They are often too wounded to endure the relationship any longer, but also too afraid to leave. So the cycle just repeats itself until something is done. How do you know someone is emotionally abusive? When examining your own relationships, remember that emotional abuse is often subtle. As a result, it can be very hard to detect. If you are having trouble discerning whether or not your relationship is abusive, stop and think about how the interactions with your partner, friend, family member, or co-worker make you feel. Here are signs that you may be in an emotionally abusive relationship. Keep in mind that even if your partner, friend, family member, or co-worker does a handful of these things, you are still in an emotionally abusive relationship. Do not fall into the trap of telling yourself it's not that bad and minimizing their behavior. Remember, everyone deserves to be treated with kindness and respect. If you feel wounded, frustrated, confused, misunderstood, depressed, anxious, or worthless anytime you interact, chances are high that your relationship is emotionally abusive. Emotionally abusive people invalidate you. Some examples include undermining, dismissing, or distorting your perceptions or your reality. Refusing to accept your feelings by trying to define how you should feel. Accusing you of being too sensitive, too emotional, or crazy. Refusing to acknowledge or accept your opinions or ideas as valid. And this is a good one. Starting arguments for the sake of arguing. When emotional abuse is severe and ongoing, a victim may lose their entire sense of self, sometimes without a single mark or bruise. Instead, the wounds are invisible to others, hidden in the self-doubt, worthlessness, and self-loathing the victim feels. In fact, research indicates that the consequences of emotional abuse are just as severe as those from physical abuse. Over time, the accusations, verbal abuse, and criticisms erode a victim's sense of self so much that they can no longer see themselves realistically. The first step in dealing with an emotionally abusive relationship is to recognize the abuse. If you were able to identify any aspect of emotional abuse in your relationship, it is important to acknowledge that first and foremost. By being honest about what you are experiencing, you can begin to take control of your life again. Again, it's important to recognize the abuse. When it comes to your mental and physical health, you need to make yourself a priority. Stop worrying about pleasing the person abusing you. Take care of your needs. Do something that will help you think positively and affirm who you are. Establish boundaries. Firmly tell the abusive person that they may no longer insult you, be rude to you, and so on. Then tell them what will happen if they choose to engage in this behavior. For instance, tell them that if they call you names or insult you, the conversation will be over and you will leave the room. The key is to follow through on your boundaries. Do not communicate boundaries that you have no intention of keeping. Realize you can't fix them. Despite your best efforts, you will never be able to change an emotionally abusive person by doing something different or by being different. An abusive person makes a choice to behave abusively. Remind yourself that you cannot control their actions and that you are not to blame for their choices. The only thing you can fix or control is your response. Don't try to fix an abusive person. The best thing to do is to not engage with an abusive person. This is it. I hope you find this video useful. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends and family. And please subscribe to my channel. Join this wonderful community. Take care.